James ultimately decided to go upstairs to the bedroom about 9 o'clock in the evening. His beautiful 27-year-old wife, Megan, was preparing to go out on a date with her pals. The previous Friday, when she went out with them, didn't exactly excite James, but he couldn't accept it as a new weekly ritual either. They lived in Portland, Oregon, a city known for its vibrant nightlife, which Megan had been enjoying more frequently. She saw the concerned expression on his face and sighed. "You're not going to sulk about this, are you?" James nodded towards the sleek black dress laid out on the bed and the delicate lavender lingerie she was wearing. She looked incredibly captivating in them. "I haven't seen these before," he remarked, his tone betraying a hint of suspicion. Megan looked slightly uncomfortable. "Well, yes, I bought them just this week," she admitted, avoiding his gaze. James paused for a moment, then walked to the bathroom, returning with a more modest set of lingerie from the laundry basket. "So, is this what a husband is supposed to accept?" he asked, holding up the plain beige bra and panties. "While you happily wear this," he gestured to the lavender set barely covering her. "For some strangers you've never even met before?" You studied her closely. "Unless," he added after a meaningful pause, "this is more than just a casual night out with the girls. Maybe you've arranged to meet someone there, like a date." Megan looked at him, her expression shifting from shock to anger. "No," she protested, "there's no one else." "How could you even think that?" "So," James continued, ignoring her protest and carefully choosing his words, "when you're out with your friends, you never dance with other men, let them get too close, or even flirt with them?" "How dare you suggest that?" Megan snapped, her voice rising with indignation. "I dare to suggest it because I know more about your friends than you might realize," he replied calmly. "One is single, two are divorced, and then there's you, the only one still married. Do you really expect me to believe that when they're out looking for fun? They would not attempt to entice you into their reality. It is not your place to judge them." She fired back, fury flaring in her eyes. "I do not condemn them." He gave a level response. "You and they are both free to choose what suits us." Megan squinted her eyes curiously. "Are you advising me not to go then?" "How is that even a choice?" "I'm not telling you not to go out," James replied, his voice steady. "I'm simply telling you that I find this behavior inappropriate for a married woman, and I believe your friends are putting you in situations that could end badly for our marriage." Megan's face flushed with anger. "Are you seriously suggesting that a night out with my friends could threaten our marriage?" She scoffed. "Don't be so insecure. I always come home to you. Why are you so worried?" "I'm worried because you're the most beautiful woman I know, and you're going to clubs with single women I don't trust. Add alcohol and attention from men into the mix, and it's a recipe for trouble," James explained, raising his hand to prevent her from interrupting. "Our marriage is already on shaky ground because you think this," he pointed to her almost bare state, "is something your husband should just accept without any questions. Hey, it's too late now. I promised to meet them at 10 o'clock and you're trying to make me late," Megan said, turning back to the mirror to finish her makeup, her tone dismissive. James took a deep breath, deciding to make one last attempt. "You also promised to respect your husband," he said pointedly. "It seems like you're quite comfortable ignoring that promise. Or are your friends' feelings more important to you than mine? What's wrong with you? Don't you trust me?" She snapped, frustration evident in her voice. "I'm just going out for drinks with the girls, that's it. Now, for heaven's sake, leave me alone." James sighed deeply. "It's not that I don't want to trust you, Megan. It's that I can't help but worry when you're out there every Friday night with women who aren't exactly known for their stable relationships. And I'm left here alone, wondering if you'll end up in a situation where a line is crossed." "I would never do that." Megan protested, but James cut her off. "Gail bragged about her little escapades on social media last week. She's one of your closest friends, and that's exactly what she did. How long before you start thinking it's harmless too, as long as I don't find out?" Megan stood there, speechless as James continued, his voice firm now. "If you want to go dancing, invite me along. If you just want to be around strangers, flirting and letting loose, then be honest with me. We can end this charade right now." "You're being so insulting," she shot back, her temper flaring. "No, I'm being realistic. I don't believe you're just looking for a night of harmless fun. I'm willing to believe you haven't crossed any lines yet. But that's the choice I'm giving you. Leave or stay, it's up to you. But remember, I have a choice too. If you walk out that door tonight, you can enjoy your night, but I won't be here when you get back." So here it was. James had laid it all out. He had given Megan every opportunity to understand his feelings, to hear his desire to fix their marriage. Now she had a choice, him or them. "You're joking, aren't you?" she said, fury lacing her words. He had never seen her this angry in the 5 years they'd been together. "No," he said quietly. "If you want to dress up like your friends and go out drinking and dancing with them every Friday night, you'd... But I'm just telling you that sitting at home, waiting for you to come back late at night, is not how I see my future." He paused, heading toward the door. "For now, I have other things to do. I'll be downstairs when you've made your decision." Megan sat down in front of the mirror, her mind racing. She hadn't cheated, but she had come close to it last week. A moment of weakness had led to a comforting embrace with a stranger. Still, she couldn't deny how much she enjoyed the attention from men in the club. It made her feel desired in a way that James's compliments, though frequent, didn't. After all, he was her husband. He was supposed to say nice things about her. But those men at the club? They were captivated by her, and it thrilled her. James sat at his laptop, filling out an online form his mind made up. It was 9:40 when he heard her descending the stairs. He looked up. Was she staying or leaving? Megan wore high-heeled shoes that accentuated her long legs, disappearing into the short, tight blue dress she had chosen. He remained silent, watching her. Was she about to invite him to join her, or was she still determined to go out with her friends? She hesitated for a moment, then spoke. "I'm leaving. We can talk tomorrow." James slowly shook his head and turned back to his computer, ignoring her. She stood there, uncertain if he was serious. He didn't even hear the front door close as she left. He finished filling out the form, attached the link to an email, and clicked send. Then he went upstairs, threw some clothes into a couple of suitcases, and made a decision. On Monday, he would tell his boss that he had accepted the job offer in Seattle, in Megan's family group. "Hello, everyone. I'm sorry you have to find out like this, but Megan has made it clear to me that she needs more excitement in her life than I can offer. I've sent her the link to our divorce statement via email. It's been an honor to be part of your family, but I hope you understand why I've decided from this moment on to no longer maintain contact with any of you." James felt he had one more thing to do. He approached the printer, took a sheet of paper from the output tray, and wrote something down. He taped it over their wedding photograph above the fireplace. Then he turned off his phone and stepped outside to wait for his taxi. Megan had just sat down at a table in the club and was chatting with her friend Lisa when her phone rang. "If this is James begging me to come home," she muttered irritably. But it wasn't James. It was her older sister, Catherine. "Where on earth are you right now?" Catherine's voice was sharp with urgency. I'm at the club with my friends," Megan replied, feeling defensive. "So what does James know?" Catherine demanded. "He knows I'm out with friends. Why are you asking?" Megan said, growing more uncomfortable by the second. "And how did he take it?" Catherine's tone was growing more exasperated, a contrast to her usual calm demeanor. "He wasn't thrilled, but I told him we'd talk about it tomorrow," Megan said, trying to sound nonchalant. "Well, good luck with that, you fool. He dumped you. If you don't believe me, check your email." Lisa looked on in disbelief as Megan opened her email app hastily. Megan's face fainted even in the nightclub's low light as she perused the message. Catherine must have called because it was a message intended for her family. Her phone then rang once more. Thankfully, James was there. No, her father was the one. "What did you say to James?" her father demanded, his voice tinged with anger. "That man treated you like a queen and you wanted more?" "No, Dad, it's not like that. I just felt trapped. I needed just one night a week, to feel like myself. You're in a nightclub and your husband just left you. And you're still in a damn nightclub?" he asked incredulously. Her father was furious. He had never used such language with her before. What could she say? The noise from the club was unmistakable. It was obvious where she was. "No, Dad, he must have decided something after I left." "Dad!" The line went dead. He had hung up. Megan grabbed her purse and phone, hurriedly leaving the club. She ignored Lisa and didn't notice her other friends as she passed them on her way out. On the street, she flagged down a taxi and was home within 15 minutes. On the way, she tried to call James, but his phone went straight to voicemail. The house was eerily quiet and empty. She kicked off her shoes and rushed upstairs. His clothes-shaving kit, everything was gone. She ran downstairs. His phone, laptop, wallet, all missing. Back upstairs, she checked for his passport. It too was gone. He had warned her. No ambiguity, no room for misinterpretation. If she left that night, she would return to an empty home. She knew he despised dishonesty. He had been betrayed before, and he valued honesty above all else. James had done exactly as he said. Megan descended the stairs in a daze. An hour ago, she was married. Now they were separated. Less than a year later, she would be divorced. All because she went dancing. Then she noticed the photograph above the fireplace. Something was off. When she saw what James had done, she felt a wave of nausea. It was a picture from someone's social media profile, showing a young man proposing to his girlfriend, but there, in the background, was Megan kissing another man while he held her close. In bold black letters, James had written across the bottom of the photo, "Liar." What happened next? James moved to Seattle, and Megan was given the freedom she thought she wanted. Everything that followed, the loneliness, the regret, and the realization that she had thrown away a solid marriage, are parts of a different story. James eventually found happiness again, marrying a kind and loving woman he met through his work in Seattle. But the story of James and Megan ended there with a cautionary tale of how one night out can unravel an entire life. As I turned onto my street, I slowed down, driving more cautiously. The city council still hadn't fixed the massive pothole in the middle of the road. Despite my constant complaints, our street, nestled at the base of a steep hill in San Francisco, caused cars to approach it at dangerously high speeds. I had worried for months that an accident was bound to happen, but my concerns were ignored. Perhaps it's time to consider voting for the opposition in the next election, I thought grimly. As I approached the house, I noticed a large SUV parked in the driveway. It didn't look like any of the cars Emma's friends drove, which made me uneasy. We had been together for 5 years, living together for the last 2. I knew she was expecting a proposal soon, and I had been planning it carefully. But what I found inside would change everything. I parked in the garage and walked into the house, calling out, "Honey, I'm home." The moment I stepped into the living room, I knew something was wrong. Emma was sitting on the couch with a man I had never seen before. A wave of dread washed over me, but I tried to remain calm. I didn't realize we had a guest. "Who's this?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. Emma stood up, avoiding my gaze. "Mark, this is Donovan. We need to talk." My worst fears were confirmed. I took a deep breath, determined not to lose my temper. "What is there to talk about? You both know how this looks. I really hope I'm wrong, and that you have a perfectly reasonable explanation." Emma looked down at her feet. "Mark, you know I love you, and I've wanted to marry you and grow old together. I also want to experience life before I settle down completely. I don't want to reach old age with regrets, feeling like I missed out. I've been seeing Donovan for a while now, and I didn't want to keep doing it behind your back. I thought it would be fair to tell you and to suggest that maybe we could open up our relationship so we can all be happy." "Open up the relationship?" I echoed incredulously. "And what part of this is honest, Emma? This isn't an open relationship. It's a betrayal." "I hoped you wouldn't see it that way," she replied, her voice shaking. "You'd have the freedom to see other women too, and I trust you enough to know you'd come back to me. I know it's not what you want to hear, but maybe in time you'll see that this could make our relationship stronger. I'm sure that in a few months you'll look back and see this as a minor adjustment, something that ultimately benefited us both." "Do you even hear yourself?" I asked, unable to hide my disgust. "You're not playing by any rules, Emma. You've already cheated on me, and now you're trying to pass it off as some kind of progressive relationship. A minor adjustment. Are you out of your mind?" Donovan, who had been silent until now, decided to speak up. "Look, man, I know I cut him off sharply. This is between her and me. Both of you, get out of my house right now. I don't want to see either of you again." Emma sighed deeply, realizing there was no point in arguing. "I hoped you'd be more understanding, Mark. I've packed a bag, and I'm going to stay with Donovan for a few days to give you time to cool down. I'm sure you'll come to your senses." "Get out!" I shouted, barely keeping my composure. Emma hesitated, then grabbed her bag and made her way to the door. She moved to kiss me, but the look in my eyes stopped her cold. Donovan followed her out, and I watched them walk to his car, my heart pounding in my chest. As they reached the driveway, Emma tried one last time. "Mark, please don't make any hasty decisions. I know you're upset, but this doesn't have to be the end. I'll give you a few days to think it over, and then we can talk." Her words were drowned out by the roar of an engine. A red sports car came speeding down the hill, its driver unaware of the deep pothole ahead. I watched in grim satisfaction as the car hit the pothole at full speed, lost control, and slammed into Donovan's SUV, the side where Donovan was standing. Emma's look of horror conveyed all the information I required. I smiled bitterly as I watched the pandemonium take place. Perhaps I won't have to cast my oppositional vote after all. The story comes to an end here. Friends, feel free to remark with your ideas and opinions.